Here are 10 separate things that can land you with a £1,000 fine whilst you're driving that you might not have known about. And the first of those is so straightforward that you might overlook it. If you get married or change your name and fail to update your driving licence with your proper name, then you have failed to update your licence and keep it up to date, and that could land you with a £1,000 fine. Secondly, driving otherwise than in accordance with a licence can also land you with a £1,000 fine. Most people think this is just driving without a licence, but if your licence has expired and you fail to renew it, then you will be driving without a licence, and you can face a £1,000 fine. Thirdly, many people think of speeding as something that you get a fixed penalty for and 3 points on your licence. But in fact, depending on the speed that you are caught doing and how much in excess of the speed limit you were driving, you could face a £1,000 fine or £2,500 fine for motorway offences and between 3 and 6 penalty points on your driving licence. Of course, and with each of these things, if you tot up to 12 points, you will also be looking at a mandatory ban unless you can show exceptional hardship. More for that on a video linked in the description. Most people would hopefully not intentionally drive through a red light, because driving through a red light would be a traffic light offence which, you guessed it, can land you with a £1,000 fine. But what about the event where you're trying to get out of the way of an ambulance or police or fire vehicle coming up behind you, and you think to get out of the way, you drive through the red light to give them space? Well, as I say, that might land you with a £1,000 fine. Of course, most of us want to get out of the way of emergency vehicles, but the highway code does say you should look and listen for ambulances, fire engines, police, doctors, or other emergency vehicles using flashing blue, red, or green lights and sirens, or flashing headlights, or a road traffic or incident support vehicle using other flashing lights. However, the highway code also says do not endanger yourself, other road users or pedestrians, and avoid mounting the curb. Do not brake harshly on approach to a junction, roundabout, as a following vehicle may not have the same view as you. And running a red light, stopping in a yellow box junction, or moving into a bus lane could be classed as endangering other road users, thus landing you with a fine. In any event, if you're driving carelessly in any way whatsoever, you guessed it, this can land you with a £1,000 fine also. If you receive a 172 notice through the post, perhaps because someone else was driving your vehicle and you don't remember, if you fail to identify who the driver was or show that you've taken reasonable diligence to find out who that driver was, again, you could be facing a £1,000 fine. This is also one of those offences that comes with a discretionary disqualification. Most people on their journeys will see somebody using a mobile phone. Now, aside from me reading the other day that this is one of the leading causes of accidents, again, this can land you with a £1,000 fine. This increases to £2,500 for PVC or goods vehicles, and again, it comes with a discretionary disqualification. Another offence is failure to have proper control or a full view of the road and traffic ahead. Now again, this might sound relatively straightforward. You might think to yourself, of course you can see the road and the traffic ahead of you. But there's a number of situations that might catch you out. First of all, with the winter sun, now that the clocks have changed again, with a very low setting sun, this can be extremely dazzling. If you are tempted to keep driving even though you can't see and you end up crashing, again, this can land you with a £1,000 fine. Equally, if and when the snow arrives, if this covers your car windscreen and you don't have a full and proper view of the road and traffic ahead, and you get stopped by the police, don't be surprised if again you're being issued with a £1,000 fine. Now that MOT certificates have also gone digital, it is easy to detect whether these have gone out of date, both for you and for the authorities, because they're on a database. If you are driving with no MOT certificate, again, you guessed it, this can land you with a £1,000 fine. However, this one comes with a caveat, because just because your vehicle might have a valid MOT certificate, if something happens to it which makes it dangerous and unroadworthy, you can face a fine of up to £2,500. This is under the new rules, so if your vehicle has some kind of major fault, you could get a £1,000 fine even if you have a valid MOT certificate. If your vehicle is considered to be dangerous, then as I said, this could go up to £2,500. So what is it that determines a vehicle as dangerous? Well, if your vehicle is an immediate risk to road safety or to the environment, both of these would make the car dangerous. And finally, anyone that has a medical condition that might affect your ability to drive, this needs to be declared also. Otherwise, again, you might face a £1,000 fine. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe because that really helps my channel grow, and you might also find this video here of interest.